$1 million used to be the number, the goal every retirement calculator pointed to, the number financial advisors referenced, the benchmark that meant you had made it and could stop worrying about money. And for decades, it was a reasonable target. But something has shifted quietly and permanently in the last few years. And if you're retired right now or planning to retire soon with $1 million saved, what I'm about to show you is the most important financial reality check you'll watch this year. Because the math that made $1 million feel safe has changed, and most people haven't updated their plan to reflect it. Let's start with the most honest version of this problem. $1 million invested and generating a 4% annual withdrawal gives you $40,000 a year to live on. In 1995, $40,000 a year was a genuinely comfortable retirement income for most people. In 2026, after decades of compounding inflation across housing, food, healthcare, and energy, $40,000 a year puts a retiree below the median household income in the United States, in Canada, and in the United Kingdom. It doesn't mean poverty, but it means a retirement that is tighter, more constrained, and more vulnerable to any unexpected expense than most people who saved $1 million ever imagined they were signing up for. And here is where the problem gets deeper than most people realize. Inflation doesn't hit all spending categories equally, and it hits retirees in the categories that hurt the most. General inflation over the last few years has run at 3 to 4% annually, but healthcare inflation, the category that matters most to anyone over 65, has consistently run at 5 to 7% annually for over a decade. What that means in practical terms is that a medical expense that cost you $5,000 at age 65 will cost you roughly $9,000 at age 75 if healthcare inflation continues at its current pace. Your income from savings stays relatively flat or grows slowly, while the biggest expense in your retirement grows at nearly double the rate of everything else. That gap between what your savings produce and what your actual costs rise to is exactly where retirement plans break down quietly over years instead of all at once. There's also a longevity factor that nobody built into the original $1 million benchmark, and it's one of the most significant shifts in retirement planning of the last generation.